Thank you all so very much for joining us here at Kiva. I'm Rich Mahogany.
And I am the Goram Reaver.
Oh, and we are so very excited to bring you these two games of roller derby this evening.
Games of roller derby.
That's right. Our first game of the evening is going to be the Quad Squad in the green up against the Unholy Rollers in the red. Fun little fact, little Season 18 factoid for you, Reaver.
Bring it.
These teams are undefeated.
Ooh.
That's right. Both of these teams have beaten the other two teams. They have not played each other yet this season. So this is we're going to find out in this game who will go through the Madison Roller Derby Season 18 home season undefeated.
But Rich Mahogany, what if there's a tie?
If there's a tie, I think we just need to play a third game, honestly.
I think we actually can't have a game end in a tie.
No, there are overtime rules. There's a tiebreaker jam.
There are rules about
thing.
this, Rich.
Yeah, we're not.
In my alternate persona as the Goram Reaver Roller Derby official, I could tell you things about this.
These are true facts. But can't you just let me have my dream? 3 games of roller derby in one night?
That would be stupendous.
All right, so we are just giving our teams a little bit of time to finish strategizing, getting ready. We've got our esteemed Rat, our track technician Rat, keeping things nice and clean. UDO 608, our on-skate officials on the inside getting ready. So we're going to tell you a little bit about this night, but first we'd like to tell you a little bit about this land that we are playing on tonight. Madison Roller Derby practices and competes on Ho-Chunk land, a place their nation has called Daejeop since time immemorial. In an 1832 treaty, the Ho-Chunk were forced to cede this territory. Decades of ethnic cleansing followed when both the state and federal government repeatedly but unsuccessfully sought to forcibly remove the Ho-Chunk from Wisconsin. This history of colonization informs our shared future of collaboration and community building. Today, Madison Roller Derby respects the inherent sovereignty of the Ho-Chunk Nation along with the 11 other First Nations of Wisconsin. Please take a moment to consider the many legacies of violence, displacement, migration, and settlement that bring us together here today. And please join us in uncovering such truths each day. So Reaver.
Yes, Rich.
You were saying earlier that you were a part of this UDO, United Derby Officials 608. That's correct?
Yes, that is.
So you are familiar with the rules of roller derby.
I am familiar with the rules of roller derby.
I wonder, who all out in the crowd here is familiar with the rules of roller derby? All right. Well,
all right.
We seem to have a fairly...
It's nice to see educated fans.
Yeah.
Education is very hot.
It is. Oh, the hottest. Well... we will actually be getting into a bit of a derby demo for you once we've had a chance to introduce our teams. But we are not quite ready to introduce our teams because that track needs to be pristine.
So let us instead take a moment to acknowledge Rat and our fantastic track setup crew, track maintenance crew, track teardown crew. Speaking of track teardown, if you are here through to the end of the evening, we would like to remind you, please do not take it upon yourself to take up tape. That is a privilege reserved for Rat and his minions.
It's true. If you would like to join Rat in picking up tape, you can volunteer with Madison Roller Derby. Check us out on social media if you'd like to check out some volunteer opportunities here with us. But tonight, you don't get to pick up tape. Sorry, friends. So,
that's for the in crowd.
You don't get to pick up tape either, Eddie. Leave it where it is. So to tell you, so we said just a moment ago, Reaver, that these teams are that we're seeing go head to head here. The Quad Squad and the Unholy Rollers are undefeated so far in this season. First off, to start off the season back in December, the Unholy Rollers went up against the Vaudeville Vixens, came out on top 206 to 163. So a fairly close game there. But the Quad Squad up against the Reservoir Dolls had a bit of a closer game, with the Reservoir Dolls scoring 144 and the Quad Squad at 178.
Well, I see, Rich, that in Game 2, the Unholy Rollers faced off against the Reservoir Dolls. And the Unholy Rollers took quite a commanding lead and defeated the Reservoir Dolls, with the Unholy Rollers scoring 269 points and the Reservoir Dolls scoring 142. And then, also last in January, the Vaudeville Vixens scored 155 points against the Quad Squad's 172. So it will be very interesting to see what is going to happen with our two teams tonight, the Quad Squad and the Unholy Rollers.
It's sure to be an exciting contest, and I don't know about you, Reaver, but I'm ready for this.
I'm ready.
Quad Squad, are you ready?
Unholy Rollers, are you ready?
UDO 608, how about you?
Officials are always ready.
Crowd, how about you? Are you ready for some roller derby tonight?
Well, then let's get some things rolling. Tonight, the Quad Squad. Rolling out in green, we have number 0I, Gooder Riddance. 101, Quilla DeVille. 1104 is the Derber Baby. 1105 is Barrel Roller. 120, Battle Frog. 1337, Melee. 141, Hammer Abbey. 16 is Lana Del Rage. 215, Booty Collins. 262, Nat Splat. 273 is Crystal Ice. 3000, Future Trauma. 314, Smack and Cheese. 614 is Karma Suture. 731, MK Ultra. And 796 is Conan the Librarian. They're joined on the bench by Cassie Roll, Alligator, and Elf. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, the Quad Squad.
And now, friends, it is my pleasure to introduce to you their opponents for this matchup. Defending their title from back in 2019, the Quad Squad is going up against the Unholy Rollers. First up, number 11, Papa Roach. Number 1231, Rhubarbarian. Number 238, Radio Smacktive. Number 234, The Manipulator. Number 270, Slyanide. Number 29, Damn It, Janet. Number 613, Hijinks. Number 703, Kel Fire Warrior. Number 7734, Hellwoods. Number 80, Thrill Show. Number 800, Bada Boom Box. Number 814, Penny Sylvania. And number 847, Hello Sailor. The Unholy Rollers are supported from the bench by Calfire Warrior, Lip Smacker, Lady Hoo-Ha, and One Hit Wanda. Friends, give it up for your Unholy Rollers!
And we would would like to welcome also all of our officials. Dark Matter, Luke and Otherway, Eddie Lizard, Just Danny, Disgrace Kelly, Lou Bird, Killer Baker, Rex Support, Shonuff, Rex Support, Brazzle Dazzle, Cordova, Jezebel O'Kitty, Antimatter, John Lane, Matt Gent, and Louisville Slugger.
So not only is this a very special game, set of games, because it is the final game. They are the final games. We'll figure out words eventually. We'll figure it out as it rolls on. This is these are going to be the last games that Madison Roller Derby is playing this season. You may also hear us talking to somebody who maybe you're not hearing them. Well, that's because this game is also being live streamed on YouTube. So if I'm talking to somebody who seems like it's not there, don't worry, friends. I'm not going mad, or at least that's not a symptom of it. I'm just talking to the online chat. So, for anybody who is not familiar with the way roller derby is played, Reaver, our team's up on the track, UDO. Could you please walk us through it?
Why, sure, Rich. Let's take a quick look at how roller derby works. A roller derby bout consists of two 30-minute halves made up of shorter periods called jams. 5 skaters from each team skate in each jam. These players are divided into 3 positions. At the front, we have the pivots and the blockers, and together they form the pack. At the back, we have the jammers. These are the skaters that will be scoring points. They're easy to spot with the stars on their helmets. When the refs blow one whistle, it signifies the start of the jam, releasing the pack and the jammers. The jammers try to make their way through the pack, helped by their own blockers and hindered by the other blockers. The blockers are not allowed to use their arms or elbows to stop the jammers, and the jammers cannot cut the track around the blockers. These or any other illegal moves will land the skater in the penalty box for 30 seconds. Oh, look! The green jammer is out of the pack! The first jammer to legally get out of the pack obtains lead jammer status. The refs identify the lead jammer by pointing one arm at the jammer with the other arm in the air. Now the red jammer is out of the pack as well. They are not the lead jammer, but can still score points. The jammer ref crosses their hands in front of them to indicate that the red jammer is not the lead jammer. On the second pass, a jammer scores points for every opposing skater they pass. The number of points scored are signaled by the jammer ref. As you can see, Lou Bird holding up 4 points for Quill. When they've had enough, or to prevent the other team from scoring, the lead jammer can call off the jam by placing their hands on their hips, and the 4 whistles end the jam. Teams have 30 seconds to line up a new pack, and we start the next jam. If you want more information about how roller derby is played, please feel free to ask any of our volunteers. Now, Rich, let's watch some roller derby.
Ooh, at full speed?
At full speed.
Woohoo! All right. Well, thank you very much, Reaver, and thank you to our skaters and officials for rolling us through that. We'll give you a little bit more information, a little Derby 101 as the game continues. But we are about ready for this first jam. And we are underway. Fast hit off by Quilla DeVille for the Quad Squad in green. Knocking Thrill Show jammer for the Unholy Rollers to the inside. Taking a nice open outside lane. Takes lead jam for this first jam.
And Quilla has reached the pack again, working on getting through that wall the Unholy Rollers have set up at the back, trying to score some points. Looks like she's managed to make her way through, but a hit to the outside gets her around, and she still makes it through the pack for 4 points.
Very nice footwork on the outside there by Quill, staying in without stepping out.
And we have a star pass to the Unholy Rollers pivot Sly-eyed just before Quilla ends the jam, scoring 4 more points for the Quad Squad. Score now Quad Squad 8, Unholy Rollers 0. What an exciting start to the game, Rich.
Exactly, Reaver. We not only had a quick double pass scoring jam, but we also saw our first star pass in the first jam. So For those of you unfamiliar with the Star Pass, the blockers on the track that have that stripe on their helmet are called the pivots. Their jammer can pass them the star one time in each jam to have them become the active jammer. Speaking of active jammers, Penny Sylvania out lead jammer for the Unholy Rollers. Smack and Cheese, though, out also, and now having gotten ahead of Penny, that will force Penny to call off the jam. That was a good call off there as, looks like the Quad Squad was able to sneak away a point. So that'll be a 9-0 game in favor of the Quad Squad.
Just another fine demonstration how getting out of the pack and earning lead jammer status first does not always guarantee you will be the one scoring the points. And for this game, we have we have Lana Del Rage jamming for the Quad Squad with Radio Smackdiv jamming for the Unholy Rollers. Lana having already very quickly picked up lead jammer.
Radio Smackdiv still working on the initial pass. Looks like she has passed her star over to the pivot. That's going to be Hello Sailor donning the star, activating her jammer powers.
And Lana Del Rage ends the jam, picking up 3 more points for the Quad Squad. No points up yet for the Unholy Rollers. That brings us to 12-0.
I'd like to have a quick shout out to one of the sponsors of Madison Roller Derby, UW Health. UW Health is proud to be a part of the Madison Roller Derby's season. UW Health provides remarkable health care and is committed to serve through medical innovation and unparalleled compassion. As we get into jam number 4, we have Thrill Show jamming for the Unholy Rollers in red up against Quilla DeVille for the Quad Squad in the green. Looks like we've got a tight 3-jammer rotation happening here so far, Reaver.
And it sounds like we may have had our first penalty issued of the night. Looks like we have one of the Unholy Roller blockers heading to the box. That is the manipulator.
Thrill Show and Quilla DeVille still jockeying for position. Of course, as I say that, Thrill Show is going to get out to take lead for the Unholy Rollers.
And the Quad Squad's pivot has also gone to the box. Meanwhile, Thrill Show squeaking through quite easily now that the Quad Squad is down a few blockers with penalties. Having picked up 4 points for the Unholy Rollers, their first points of the evening.
Quilla DeVille getting through the pack for the Quad Squad is now eligible to score points. Thrill Show, though, going to say, no, all of these points this jam are for me. Please and thank you. Calls off the jam after getting 7 points for the Unholy Rollers.
We are now 12 points for the Quad Squad, Unholy Rollers 7.
Catherine Kimport, I can confirm that those red tripods are brutal. Little commentary from the chat online. We'll be going into an official timeout here, so we've got a little bit moment to talk more about some of the amazing offense and defense happening out there for both of these teams. It looks like we do have a single blocker in the box for both. Will mean these teams are starting at a diminished pack strength. You see only 3 blockers on the track for each of them right now. So things are still evenly matched. However, if you see somebody in the penalty box standing, that means they have 10 seconds or less to serve on their penalty. So that is a pretty good indicator to see when the next people are going to be getting back to the track when those teams start coming back up to full strength.
Rich, when they come back, can they just hop in anywhere?
Well,
or do they have to go somewhere special?
They can pop in wherever they would like, but it will earn them a penalty if they go into the wrong place.
And
so
what is the wrong place, Rich?
The wrong place would be right into the middle of the action, or say ahead of any other players. You have to come in behind the pack.
That is good information to know. And now we have Smack and Cheese jamming for the Quad Squad, and Penny Sylvania jamming for the Unholy Rollers. Penny Sylvania earning lead jammer status.
So
All hail the blessed Commonwealth. And I have struck Rich speechless. He
that's
just
fair.
doesn't understand
Yeah,
what it
yeah.
means to be a Pennsylvanian.
It's true. I don't. I've never been. But Pennsylvania picks up a track cut penalty.
I am filled with shame. We may have to send her to Jersey.
So this is now a power jam situation for the quad squad. One of the other things about going to the penalty box as a jammer, if you had lead jam, you lose it. If you didn't have lead jam, you're not eligible for it. So this jam will go for the full 2 minutes, but Smack and Cheese now the only jammer able to pick up points.
And pick up points she does. 4 more points for the quad squad.
Pennsylvania back in the action, looking to pick up some points here. Big push, though, by the quad squad defense. She will juke to the inside. 4 points up for the Unholy Rollers. A lot of rough and tumble action happening in the pack here. Unholy Rollers holding firm at the back. Nice job there by Hello Sailor and Slyanide, forcing Smack and Cheese to the outside, and now being run back all the way. Reaver, why is she going back so far?
Well, Rich, if someone knocks you out of bounds, you must re-enter the track behind the person who sent you out of bounds, as well as everyone else who was in front of you when you left.
Huh.
We call that recycling, when if someone hits you out and then runs back to the back of the pack to force you to re-enter behind people.
Huh. It's a very eco-conscious game, roller
It
derby.
is, it really is.
So with that jam, our teams both doubled their scores. Quad Squad up to 24, Unholy Rollers at 13.
And Pennsylvania is still in the penalty box on her second penalty from that previous jam. So Nat Splat is currently jamming unopposed for the quad squad, but Penny is about to return.
Nat Splat Foster from the Reservoir Dolls with the sweet moves to the inside takes lead jam for the quad squad.
And we have Pennsylvania returning to the track, ready to start her initial pass.
Nice job there by the Rhubarbarian holding firm on the inside line. Nat Splat hit hard, but Rhubarbarian went nowhere. Future Trauma in that pack, trying to break up the tripod for the Unholy Rollers and break Nat Splat free, but Nat Splat does get knocked to the outside at the last moment. Both jammers forced to recycle back into turn 1.
And that quad squad tripod at the back of the pack is giving Pennsylvania some trouble as she tries to complete even her initial pass on this jam. Rhubarbarian working to give Penny some support, but Penny gets knocked to the inside and recycled once again.
Nat Splat up at the front, just one blocker to beat, but Rhubarbarian knocks her out.
And you might have noticed Rhubarbarian just sort of standing there and letting Nat Splat go by at the front. Once you are 20 feet in front of the pack, you are out of play and you can no longer block. And so that is what Rhubarbarian came up against. The invisible wall at 20 feet.
We've got 2 penalties being assessed to quad squad blockers here, so they now only have 2 blockers on the track. Nat Splat knocked to the inside by the Rhubarbarian. Rhubarbarian just doing incredible work out there, that jam, to control the quad squad jammer. But still 12 points picked up by the quad squad. Unholy Rollers unable to put up any points that jam.
An amazing amount of defense from the quad squad, keeping the Unholy Rollers and Pennsylvania scoreless in that jam.
Little shout out of love to the one, the only Johnny Pepper out on the stream. Words hard. Roller derby also hard, but these players play it so well. Quilla DeVille out there jamming for the quad squad against Radio Smacktive for the Unholies in the red, and it's gonna be Dio out there taking lead for the Unholies.
And we have Conan the Librarian returning to the track to join her Quad Squad teammates in the pack. And it looks like their pivot is about to return as well. Oh, but was not released before the jam ends, so Hijinks will not be back until, looks like they were, I'm sorry, not Hijinks. I'm looking at the wrong team. That was Karma Suture, who actually was released from the box just at the end of the jam. So the Quad Squad will be starting with all 4 of their blockers in the pack.
Fantastic fortunes for the Quad Squad there. That's the penalties timer does freeze in between jams. Getting back down on the track, Jam 8, Lana Del Rage is jamming for the Quad Squad, but it's going to be Thrill Show out there taking lead jam for the Unholy Rollers. Quad Squad losing a pivot to the box. That's going to be Gouda Riddance.
And also the Unholy Rollers, Hell Woods, heading to the box.
It's a pivot party.
I predict there will be no star passes in the next 30 seconds.
I don't know about that. Thrill Show breaking through for 4 more points. Hard pushing by Lana Del Rage. However, the Unholy Rollers still holding firm. Battle Frog barreling in, trying to break up that tripod. Does a great job. Lays out the Rue Barbarian. But the Unholy tripod, their defense, they just reform. Even when they just can't make a shape, they get their bodies in the way.
And just after returning from the penalty box, Gouda Riddance has taken a star pass for the Quad Squad and is now working on scoring some points.
Unholy Rollers playing pinball with Gouda there, but Gouda staying upright and in bounds. Cuts to the inside. Oh. But
and Gouda picks up a penalty. So the Quad Squad will be starting the next jam with their jammer in the box. 0 points for the Quad Squad in that jam, and 19 for the Unholy Rollers. Rich Mahogany, we have a tie game.
oh my God. And the Quad Squad, like you said, they're in a rough position here going into this next jam because their jammer is in the box, and the jam ended before they sat down. So it's going to be a full 30-second power start for the Unholy Rollers here. Unholy sending up Damn It Janet in this power start. DJ, a very fast, nimble jammer, doing a great job of pushing the Quad Squad wall up in front. She will break through. Lead jam goes to the Unholy Rollers.
And Damn It Janet coming back to the pack, ready to score some points. Working on the inside. And back to the outside, trying to get through that Quad Squad tripod that has just disintegrated to let her through for 4 points.
Gouda Riddance back on the track for this Quad Squad, looking to make that initial pass. Almost out, but is forced out on the inside. Penalty is drawn on a Unholy blocker. 3 blockers on the track for the Unholies. Both jammers up at the front.
4 more points for the Unholy Rollers, put up by Damn It Janet. And Gouda Riddance has completed her initial pass and is ready to score points.
Damn It Janet not going to let this one go yet. Still hungry for points. Taking advantage of a jammer who had just jammed in the last jam. It's not so great to not have that, that little sit-ski in between.
And Janet completes another scoring pass. 4 more points for the Unholy Rollers and ends that jam. And we now have a timeout taken by the Quad Squad, which gives me an opportunity to let you all know that WORT is one of our proud MRD sponsors. Check out WORT 89.9 FM, your local community radio station, online, on their app, or in person. Be a part of your community radio and volunteer today.
Just a reminder to everybody that trackside seating is 18 and up only at your own risk. It is, you are accepting a bit of danger sitting next to that line, as skaters may go flying. Unfortunately, we cannot have folks who are under 18 at the trackside seating.
Yes, and officials sometimes go flying too.
And sometimes mascots go flying.
It's true. So if you are under 18 or you know someone who is under 18, take a look at the lines on the floor. If there are not two blue lines between you and the track and you are under 18, you need to move back, please.
I just need to not point them out.
Right over there.
Yep.
I start talking about what
They're on the camera.
I know.
We have observed that there are a bunch of under 18s sitting trackside and need them warned off the line, please, before we can continue.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, everyone, please, if you are under 18, you need to be behind the second blue line behind the track. We cannot resume gameplay until everyone who is under the age of 18 is at least 10 feet from the track.
We do apologize for the inconvenience, but thank you for your cooperation.
This is an important safety consideration, so we do appreciate your cooperation. Thank you very much.
So as we make room for folks who are moving out from the floor, if there is a little bit of extra space next to you on the bleachers, if you could just cozy in a little bit to some of your neighbors, because we do have a sold-out game this evening. So we again appreciate your assistance. But hey, we're back to the action on the track. Jam number 10 sees Smack and Cheese going up for the Quad Squad in green, up against Radio Smacktive for the Unholy Rollers in red.
Sounds like it's a pretty smacking good time.
Oh, not for Smack and Cheese. Smack and Cheese picks up a penalty, so earns her 30 seconds in the penalty box to think about what she's done. This gives Radio Smacktive a power jam.
And it looks like the Quad Squad's pivot is also heading to the penalty box. Battle Frog taking a seat next to her jammer.
Nice job there by Hammer Abby, knocking Radio Smacktive out to the outside. Will force her to recycle just as she was about to break out.
However, Radio Smacktive was awarded lead jammer status before being recycled.
Dio coming up to the pack hot. Only a few blockers up at the front. Does end up breaking by her. That will be 4 more points up for the Unholies.
And Smack and Cheese, having been released from the penalty box, slides right through that pack. But we bring the jam to an end. 4 points for the Unholy Rollers, 0 for the Quad Squad.
That's right, 11 points now separating these teams. Unholy Rollers just starting to edge out their lead a bit. We've got 14 minutes remaining to play in this first half. But then a whole nother half of roller derby after this.
And then another game after that. So much roller derby, Rich Mahogany.
This is most certainly the best sporting event that's happening this weekend anywhere.
Absolutely. And now we have Quilla DeVille jamming for the Quad Squad and Thrill Show jamming for the Unholy Rollers.
Seen these jammers go head-to-head several times. It's going to be Quilla DeVille coming out on top, taking lead jam for the Quad Squad. Just one blocker to beat for Thrill Show. Nice hold there by Crystal Ice.
And Crystal Ice getting a out-of-play penalty for that blocking. She held on just a little too long after hitting the pack boundary, the engagement zone boundary.
Quick call off by Quill. Will pick up all 4 points on that pass. Unholy Rollers held down to just 2. With that, the Quad Squad bringing this within 10 points. Quad Squad at 49, Unholy Rollers 58. Shout out to Madison Roller Derby sponsor, Delta Beer Lab. Crafting beer, crafting change.
I like change. I like beer.
I like labs.
It sounds like a fantastic sponsor.
Yeah. Science? Heck yeah. Roller Derby, heck yeah. Penny Sylvania says lead jam, heck yeah.
Woo woo. All hail the blessed Commonwealth. And Penny Sylvania is jamming against Lana Del Rage for the Quad Squad, but has gotten through, scored 4 points, and ending the jam. Because that's how we do when we're from the Keystone State.
We do have an empty penalty box as we get up into jam number 13, giving us 80 wheels ablazing away on the flat track. Looks like it's going to be Smack and Cheese jamming for the Unholy Rollers in the green, up against Radio Smacktive for the Unholies in red.
And Dio has earned lead jammer status for the Unholy Rollers, but Smack and Cheese is hot on her heels.
Dio coming into the pack hot, crashes into the outside edge of the pack. Wow, nice job by the Quad Squad taking up the entirety of the pack, controlling Dio there, allowing Smack and Cheese to get through, now eligible to score points.
And that jam is brought to an end with 3 more points for the Unholy Rollers. That brings us to 53 for the Quad Squad, 65 for the Unholy Rollers.
Thank you, Tipsy, for keeping me honest on that wheel count. You are correct, including the officials. It is 136 wheels on the track when nobody is in the penalty box.
That is a lot of wheels, Rich Mahogany.
So many wheels, all of them going round and round. Skaters going round and round. Quilla DeVille taking lead jam. Thrill Show stashing the star, but putting it back on. She emerges from the pack. So it is legal to take that star off. Little sassy star stashy.
And Quilla DeVille has gone to the penalty box for a cut penalty at the front of the track, signaled by our outside pack referee, Just Danny.
That's right, she will have to relinquish her lead jammer powers. With this jam will go for the full 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Two.
Thrill Show, meanwhile, continues to score points for the Unholy Rollers because she has not been sent to the penalty box.
Some very nice waterfall blocking here by the Quad Squad, basically just sending up a blocker as far as they could, but the Unholies holding the pack definition towards the back, so they can only go so far before they have to let Thrill Show go. Quilla DeVille is back on the track. However, being stymied by a ferocious Unholy Rollers defense.
Thrill Show taking a short whip off of Rue Barbarian to slide past the Quad Squad blockers and complete that scoring pass for 4 more points.
Quad Squad with a nice crush maneuver, coming in, waiting for their jammer to go to approach the pack, but then going in and hitting the Quad Squad defense right as they're approaching. Quad Squad were able to hold back Thrill Show, though, but not forever. She will break through just as the clock hits 0 for the jam. So when it all is said and done, the dust settles. Unholy Rollers pick up a big 16 points on that jam to the Quad Squad 6. Brings our score total to Quad Squad 59, Unholy Rollers 81.
have a timeout.
The most official of timeouts.
I love official timeouts. They allow officials to collect all of their data and make sure I's are crossed, T's are dotted, and numbers are in the right boxes.
I would hope their eyes aren't too crossed, though. It might be hard to catch penalties then.
Well, you know what they say about referees and vision.
They have it in
Yes.
spades.
Yes. I would like to talk about Outreach Madison. Do you know about Outreach Madison, Rich?
I know a little bit about them, but please tell me more.
Well, they are one of our sponsors for Madison Roller Derby, and it is South Central Wisconsin's LGBTQ plus community center, providing support for over 50 years. Outreach has been on the forefront of social change and provides safe spaces and programs for the LGBTQ plus people of Madison and Dane County. Thank you, Outreach Madison.
Shout out to Show Nuff taking us to the gun show during this official timeout. He's so strong, he holds up the game all by himself.
I hear he's been doing that for nigh on a dozen years.
A baker's dozen or?
No, just a regular dozen.
Yeah. Them bakers always making up numbers to throw into things.
It's true.
They really rise to the occasion with that sort of thing, don't they?
They do. They are very needed.
You really had that one fermenting for a while, didn't you?
I had to stick it in the proving drawer for a while and make sure it was just right. And that rolling whistle means we're about ready to get a jam started once again. I see we've got number 814, Pennsylvania, lined up for the Unholy Rollers. And Nat Splat is jamming for the Quad Squad.
Some very firm defense here as these teams are locking down ahead of the pivot line. We'll see a blocker for each team heading to the box. It's going to be Pennsylvania breaking through to take lead for the Unholies.
Nat Splat has also completed her initial pass and is also approaching the pack, ready to score some points. Pennsylvania knocked to the floor at the front, but does complete her scoring pass for 4 points.
Nice track awareness by the Quad Squad blockers there. It was Future Trauma and Battle Frog, knowing exactly when it was time to let that jammer go, so they did not draw that out of play penalty. Both jammers cutting through the pack, 4 points each.
And Pennsylvania ends that jam. Total of 8 points for each team picked up in that jam. 71 for the Quad Squad, 89 for the Unholy Rollers.
Yeah.
Oh, 5 seconds, friends, and we are ready to get into jam 16 of the first half. Smack and Cheese, your jammer for the Quad Squad in the green, up against Radio Smacktive for the Unholies in red. Smack and Cheese fighting her way up to the front, takes lead for the Quad Squad. Radio Smacktive working her way through, does find some daylight on the inside. Oh, but takes a spill right at the last moment. Is going to have to recycle back behind number 141, Hammer Abbey.
Smack and Cheese once again back at the front of the pack, fighting the Unholy blockers to get through and put points on the board for the Quad Squad.
Getting a little bit of help breaking up that wall, and Smack and Cheese will get through. 4 points up for the Quad Squad.
Radio Smacktive still working on getting through the pack, but decides to pass the star to Hellwoods, her pivot instead.
Great blocking there by Karma Suture, being able to stymie that star pass while Hellwoods has donned the star. She got sucked right back into the pack.
Unfortunately, the star pass not having helped the Unholy Rollers very much with getting their jammer through the pack. Hellwood's still struggling to get past the quad squad defense. And that jam comes to an end.
Unholy Rollers held to 0 for that jam, waiting for confirmation on the number of points for the quad squad. Looks like that is going to be 8 points, so 10 points now separating these teams with 4 minutes remaining to play in the first half.
Rich Mahogany, if I wanted to buy a fabulous t-shirt or pin or other sort of memorabilia, would there be a way for me to do that?
Oh, there most certainly would be. There's a merchandise table right outside the entrance to this very area, and we'll tell you more about it after this jam.
Fantastic. I love buying things.
I love merch too. Almost as much as I love roller derby in general. Londa Del Rage pushing away on the inside, trying to find some daylight, but the Unholy Rollers defense holds firm, breaking out their jammer thrill show.
Thrill Show back into the pack for her scoring pass. Quad squad again with that strong tripod at the front, working on preventing the completion of scoring passes for the Unholy Roller Jammers. They've been doing a lot of that this evening, Rich Mahogany.
That they have, Reaver. We're going to see Thrill Show get through for 4 more roller derby points. Lest my eyes deceive me, I believe we've got a star pass on the side of the quad squad, Reaver. In fact, it's going to be Gouda Riddance now holding the star. But in a similar situation to the last jam with the Unholies, the skate is now on the other foot. Gouda has the star, but was quickly stymied by the Unholy Rollers defense. Thrill Show now taking a run of it, has completed her second scoring pass. Looking for 3.
And with a fantastic bit of footwork at the back of the pack, Thrill Show has gotten past the quad squad blockers to score 4 more points.
Oh, that was such an amazing little juke. Great footwork by Thrill Show.
Nice little power slide at the back there. And now 2 more points for Thrill Show before she ends the jam. That brings us to 103 points total in this game so far for the Unholy Rollers quad squad, only at 79.
That's right, an explosive jam there for the Unholy Rollers, extending their lead back out. But we wanted to talk a bit about those merchandise tables.
I heard there's a promo bin.
Yes, there is a merch promo. If you buy any item, you get a free item out of the promo bin. Promo items include pins, stickers, and koozies.
That sounds very fantastic. If I weren't busy right now, I would go buy some. But I'm busy talking about the fact that Quilla DeVille is now lead jammer for the quad squad, and Dammit Janet for the Unholy Rollers has also completed her initial pass.
Nice burst of speed there by Dammit Janet, helping her get by those last blockers.
Quilla DeVille has gone to the box, so we are now on a 2-minute jam. And we have a bit of a power jam right now for the Unholy Rollers.
Right, Unholies taking good advantage of this. Now just holding off at the back, trying to deny the quad squad too much more space to be able to hold Dammit Janet, relying on Janet's power to push forward these 2 blockers. Got Karma Suture up there, and I believe that is Crystal Ice. Yes, indeed. Crystal Ice and Karma Suture doing a great job of pair blocking back there, able to recycle Dammit Janet to the back. We've got Quill back on the track. Multiplayer block assessed to quad squad skater Karma Suture.
And Bill Will has skated around on the outside to complete another scoring pass, picking up 4 more points for the Quad Squad. Dammit Janet having also picked up 4 points for the Unholy Rollers on that pass.
Unholy Rollers are back up to full strength. Quad Squad missing a blocker in the box, and it looks like they will miss that blocker going into the second half. As that brings us to the halftime, friends. We do have an official review being called for by the Unholy Rollers, but we'll believe that we're going to just get the result of that coming into the second half. As things stand now, Quad Squad picked up 13 points that jam, bringing their score up to 92. Unholy Rollers, though, picking up 11, bringing their score to 114. So they maintain the lead, but are definitely well within striking distance of the Quad Squad. So this is going to be a great opportunity for you all to go and check out those merchandise tables, get yourselves some refreshments. But be back here in 10-15 minutes, because we are going to get this second half underway, and we will bring you the result of this official review at that time.
The result of the official review and many more exciting things to come. All right, everyone, as our intermission winds down, we have a little bit of business left over from the first period that we want to catch you all up on. Rich Mahogany, what was that official review about?
Well, the Unholy Rollers were looking for a forearm penalty on the Quad Squad jammer. After a studious review, our UDO Zebras have decided there was no forearm to call. The no call stands. The Unholy Rollers lost their official review. But now...
Oh no, it looks like Dark Matter is issuing a penalty to our jam timer, Shonuff. Rich, what could a jam timer have done to earn a penalty?
Well, I can only assume that Shonuff has decided to do something egregious like retire from roller derby.
Oh no. And you know what? You're right. He is retiring after tonight's game.
It's true. Shonuff, a mainstay of the Madison Roller Derby group, this family. He's been doing things on the official side of roller derby for 12 years.
That's right. On February 13th, 2011, Shonuff was a lineup tracker for 2 games hosted by Madison Roller Derby, then Mab Rollin' Dolls at the Alliant Energy Center. 3 months later, he officiated his first multi-day event at the 2011 Midwest Brouhaha in Milwaukee. And that fall, he made his first WFTDA tournament appearance as a penalty box timer at the North Central Regional Playoffs in Indianapolis. In all, over the past dozen years, Sho has filled every position listed on the WFTDA's officiating games history except outside whiteboard, although he was around when that position still existed, and has racked up a total of nearly 450 individual games. He has been a tournament head non-skating official for 3 WFTDA tournaments and has also officiated for Blood and Thunder Roller Derby World Cup. His service has taken him to 15 U.S. states and 1 Canadian province. In addition to his officiating, Sho has also provided support work to MRD and the WFTDA. For several years, he was MRD's Bout production manager, ensuring everything goes smoothly on game day and all needed supplies and personnel are ready. And if you read the credits listed in the WFTDA stats book, you will find his name. He has worked with countless officials and players throughout the years, providing mentorship and training for those seeking to learn officiating skills or understand the rules and how they are applied to the game. He has also been a friend to so many right here in Madison and around the world. Without a doubt, Shonuff will be missed, both here in Madison and throughout the roller derby community. On behalf of United Derby officials, Local 608, and all of Madison Roller Derby, thank you so much for all that you have done.
Thank you so much, Shonuff. I guess you can serve the rest of your penalty by finishing out jam timing this game. and supporting for the next one as well. Thank you for all of your love and support for Roller Derby Show. And now, to go on to that, like retirement's a great. It's a bittersweet thing. I'm not going to call that a buzzkill, but now I'm going to have to be a buzzkill. Friends, reminder: if you are under 18, you cannot be sitting trackside. Please, if you are under 18, sit up by the bleachers or in one of the chairs. But trackside seating, we can literally not start this game with anybody 18 and under.
Safety is an official's #1 concern.
Yes.
It says so in some rule set somewhere.
So as we get ready for this second half of the game, little recap: Quad Squad at 92, Unholy Rollers 114. We taking a look at penalties. We do have a single Unholy Roller blocker with 5 penalties. It's going to be, we'll talk about that after this jam. We're getting right back into it with Thrill Show going out, taking lead jam for the Unholy Rollers. Quilla DeVille out there jamming for the Quad Squad. Nice footwork there on the outside will net Quill the opportunity to score points, but Thrill Show says no, my points. That'll be 2 points up for the Unholy Rollers. Quad Squad held down to 0. So to talk a little bit about those penalties we were saying, Reaver, we've got the Manipulator for Unholy Rollers who had 5 penalties. And on the side of the Quad Squad, we've got Gouda Riddance with 4. Other people do have other numbers of penalties, but those are the high penalty accruers for each team. And what's the relevance of that?
Well, once you've committed 7 penalties in a single game, you do what is called foul out. You have committed so many penalties that it is decided you are no longer allowed to play derby with your friends in that game.
It looks like we're actually going to have Nat Splat taking a high block penalty, a low block penalty. We'll send her to the penalty box.
That allows Pennsylvania to pick up lead jammer status for the Unholy Rollers.
Pennsylvania able to break through the middle of that wall for the Quad Squad. Will pick up 4 points for the Unholies. Quad Squad setting up right after the after turn 2 there. Penalty assessed to future trauma for the Quad Squad.
Nad Splat, meanwhile, has returned to the track, is trying to make her way through the Unholy blockers at the back of the pack, who are now at the front of the pack. Pennsylvania getting pushed to the inside line, ends the jam, having picked up 3 more points for the Unholy Rollers.
I'd like to show a little bit of love to another Madison Roller Derby sponsor, Meet Meepleton's World of Fun. Meet Meepleton's World of Fun can't wait to introduce you to the greatest store you never knew you always wanted. Head over to their Willie Street shop to check out their offering of quality vintage and modern toys and pop culture collectibles, or customize your own toy in their workshop.
Meep. And we now have Lana Del Rage jamming for the Quad Squad against Radio Smackdiv for the Unholy Rollers. Dio getting recycled to the back of the pack and taken out again by a wonderful hit from Quad Squad Pivot Kama Suture.
Quad Squad, those are the words. Quad Squad doing a great job of holding Dio back here, but Dio really dancing on that line, making them work for holding her back.
And Lana Del Rage making it through the pack to earn lead jammer status for the Quad Squad. Dio still being held up by that quad squad tripod that has been so effective many times this game. However, it broke apart as a penalty was called on one of the quad squad blockers, Future Trauma, and Dio is now ready to score some points for the Unholies.
Nice hit to the outside by Karma Sutra just as the jam is ending.
And Dio picks up 1 point before that jam ended. 3 points for the quad squad.
Lining up for jam number 3 of the second half, we're going to see Coilla DeVille wearing the star for the quad squad in green, up against none other than Thrill Show for the Unholies in the red.
And lead jammer goes to Coilla DeVille for the quad squad.
Rue Barbarian giving chase, but Quill with the fancy footwork.
And Thrill Show has completed her initial pass, coming back ready to score some more points. But Quill is going to end that jam after picking up 4 for the quad squad, but not before Thrill Show picks up 4 for the Unholies.
That's right. As they say, you always power through that 4th whistle, because the jam doesn't stop until that 4th one's out.
Absolutely. That is 100% correct. Rich, do you ever need to air out your gear?
Often.
Well, if you're looking for the perfect place to air out your gear, call Amy Bua, one of our MRD sponsors. She's the realtor who will make your experience as smooth as a power jam with 2 in the box. And beginning to end, it will be like an MVJ experience.
Thank you so much to Amy Bua. No doubt fueling Penny Sylvania in her bid for lead jam in this jam, going up against Nat Splat for the quad squad. As I say that, Nat Splat breaks through the pack. Is now eligible to score points.
And Penny Sylvania has completed a scoring pass, putting up 4 more for the Unholy Rollers.
Unholy defense does force Nat Splat to recycle after getting into turn 1. More of that recycling happening by the pivot for the Unholy Rollers. That is Hello Sailor.
And Penny Sylvania getting past that tripod that the quad squad had at the front, putting up 4 more points as Nat Splat completes a scoring pass for 4 for the quad squad. Penny ends the jam. And 1 more point for the quad squad. No more for the Unholies. Brings us to 104 for the quad squad, 136 for the Unholy Rollers.
Slick maneuver there by Nat Splat just at the end of that jam, swiveling her hips right around one of those Unholy blockers, because the hips are where your point is. You need to protect your point. It's getting those hips by the opposing blocker's hips, and then you have stolen their point.
Hips are so important in this game.
Points, just like hips, do not lie.
In this jam, we have Smack and Cheese and Radio Smacktives. Mac and Smack. Lead jammer status going to Smack and Cheese for the quad squad.
Radio Smacktive running through the pack will end up completing the initial pass for the Unholy Rollers.
No, she will be going to the penalty box on a high block.
Oh, and what timing there. The quad squad will call off the jam. It's going to ice Dio in the penalty box for a full 30 seconds as we line up for Jam 7.
Quad squad will be starting the next jams with a power jam.
That's right. They'll be sending Coilla DeVille, number 101, out to jam. Blockers lining up at the pivot line, so Quill's going to have an opportunity to get some steam here. Nice force there. She just collides with the pack, but The Unholy roller wall holds firm, so she just goes around it. Round the inside, Quilla DeVille takes lead jam for the Quad Squad.
Nice block by Hello Sailor, sending Quill to the outside, but she recovers easily and has gotten through the pack to pick up 4 more points. Dio is now back on the track, but trying to get past those Quad Squad blockers.
Quill trying again on the outside, but is going to be recycled back by Hello Sailor and Slyanide. Hammer Abby dropping back to recycle Radio Smacktive, who has returned to the track from her penalty. Quad Squad locking down firm, gonna have Melee come in and try to break up that wall to be able to get Quill out. Quill will end up pushing her way past Slyanide for 4 roller derby points. Quill with 1 to beat will end up pushing by 4 more points up for the Quad Squad. Hello Sailor has received the star from Dio, breaking out of the pack. Gonna force that call off from Quilla DeVille. Big jam for the Quad Squad, Reaver. Looks like we're gonna see 12 points up for the Quad Squad. Unholy Rollers held down to 4. Our teams are now separated by 21 points. Unholy Rollers leading. We've got just under 20 minutes to play.
And I do want to give a shout out to our MRD sponsor, Terciops Truncatus Studio. Kathy, we see you in the chat, keeping us alive, and we love you. Terciops Truncatus Studio is a local Derby-owned independent game design team bringing you fun games and fun gifts for the gamers in your life. Play their new Wreck 'em Up space opera, The Day We Fought Space, now available on a mobile device near you.
Getting back down to the action on the track, Thrill Show jamming against Nat Splat. Thrill Show almost through initially, but taken down on the inside, forced to recycle back. Our blockers getting nice and cozy in turn 1 here, Reaver.
Indeed they are.
You have Thrill Show pushing up at the front of the pack. Unholies are going to lose the Rue Barbarian to the penalty box. Thrill Show only 1 to beat now. Nat Splat, though, narrowly out in front. Will steal that lead away from Thrill Show.
And now our action is in turn 2. Nat Splat to the outside, calling the jam, but let's see what our referees have to say. We've got 1 point going up for the Unholy Rollers. Eddie Lizard, the jammer ref for the Quad Squad, is conferring with his outside pack referees. This is a very important process in assuring points are awarded properly. And we are going to take an official's timeout to make sure that got resolved appropriately. 1 point for the Quad Squad.
Take a moment to once again thank UW Health. UW Health is proud to be part of the Madison Roller Derby's season. UW Health provides remarkable health care and is committed to serve through medical innovation and unparalleled compassion.
I love some health. And it looks like we have a late penalty assessment. That was a skating out of bounds penalty on Nat Splat, green 262 of the Quad Squad. She is now in the box, will be serving as the jammer, which is the position she held in the previous jam. What that means is that she was determined to be skating a trajectory that would not have her remain in bounds. In other words, having deliberately skated out of bounds, either to avoid impacting other skaters or having to engage, which is not frowned upon. It is frowned upon.
It's not frowned upon if you don't mind penalties.
The idea is that the game is played on the track inside the boundary lines, and you're not allowed to purposefully remove yourself from the playing area. That's just not cricket.
No. One little boon that came from that for the Quad Squad is they did end up doubling their score for that last jam, going from 1 point to 2. So now an even 20 points separate these teams as we are getting ready for jam number 8 of the second half. It will end up being a power jam for the Unholy Rollers. Looks like that's going to be Damn It Janet taking advantage of this power start. A good choice for the Unholies here. Damn It Janet actually a foster from the Reservoir Dolls, so we'll be seeing her back on the track for game 2.
Very exciting. Skating in 2 games in a night. It's almost like being a referee.
Jam is back underway. Quad Squad without a jammer, but that means they have nothing to do but ruin Damn It Janet's jam.
But they've not ruined it yet. She is already out of the pack with lead jammer status.
No, the track was long, but she skated it. And when that jammer got a penalty, she did not hate it.
And once again, we have that Quad Squad tripod up at the front, trying to keep Damn It Janet from completing her scoring pass and recycling her to the back of the pack. Meanwhile, Nat Splat has merged, completing her initial pass, ready to start scoring some points for the Quad Squad.
Penalty box has emptied out for the Quad Squad, so they are able to kind of coalesce around DJ there. That will force the call off. 3 points picked up on that pass for DJ. So hard fought 3 points brings the Unholy's total to 144. Quad Squad unable to put up any points there, but an admirable job of waylaying DJ and forcing that call off at the end.
And for this jam, we will have Quilla DeVille jamming for the Quad Squad, Radio Smackdiv jamming for the Unholy Rollers. Quilla DeVille very quickly picking up lead jammer status.
Radio Smacked it being recycled back behind Crystal Ice. Doing a great job pushing forward, almost through. But, oh, it looks like she is knocked to the outside, forced to recycle back behind Hammer Abbey. Quilla DeVille through for 4 points. Penalty box emptying out as Hello Sailor returns to the track. Looking to break up the wall that's holding back Dio. Over that Quad Squad defense, still holding firm. Quilla DeVille through for 4 more points. Hammer Abbey leaps the apex, the offensive defensive apex jump to get into a nice position.
And we have a star pass for the Unholy Rollers to Hello Sailor just before the end of the jam. Quilla DeVille doing a great job picking up 12 points for the Quad Squad in that jam. We now have an 11-point game. 133 for the Quad Squad, 144 for the Unholy Rollers.
Oh boy, Reaver. And a reminder that both of these teams so far in this Madison Roller Derby home season are undefeated. So it is not at all surprising that we are seeing such a close, intense game here. Lana Del Rage out there jamming for the Quad Squad in the green. Thrill Show takes the line for the Unholy Rollers in the red.
Thrill Show quickly finding her way to the front of the pack, but getting recycled to the back again.
Oh, once again, Thrill Show almost through on that inside line, but is taken down. Lana Del Rage still looking for that lead. Rue Barbarian going to go to the box for the Unholy Rollers.
And And we have a lead jammer, Lana Del Rey, number 16 for the Quad Squad.
Definitely a hard-fought lead jam, as that was almost a full minute that went by in this jam before lead was declared. Thrill Show pushing hard, trying to get by.
And jam is called. 2 more points for the Quad Squad.
So that was a nice hit out right at the end there. Thrill Show keeping her head on a swivel. That was actually Thrill Show who had knocked Lana Del Rey out on the outside here and then ran her back, forcing that call off.
And we now have a timeout that has been called by the Unholy Rollers. So let's take this opportunity to remind you that Outreach Madison, one of our fabulous MRD sponsors, is the Madison and South Central Wisconsin's LGBTQ+ community center, providing support for over 50 years. Outreach has been on the forefront of social change and provides safe spaces and programs for the LGBTQ+ people of Madison and Dane County.
So as we are in the final half of this final half, I'd like to remind everybody that once this game is over, not only do we have another game, not only do we have a merchandise booth with all kinds of awesome merch, stuff that you'll never be able to see again, but we also have an after party. That's right, you can come and hang out with all of these Derby nerds longer. Who wouldn't want to do that? If you want to join us at the after party, come on down to Leopold's Books Bar Cafe. That's down at 1301 Regent Street here in lovely Madison, Wisconsin. Sorry, internet friends, if you're too far away, you can't join us. But you can join us in spirit. We always welcome you in spirit. Getting back to the action on the track, who do we have jamming Goram Reaver?
Well, Rich Mahogany, we have Nat Splat jamming for the Quad Squad, but Penny Sylvania has picked up lead jammer status for the Unholy Rollers. That is almost as exciting as a Seltzer Sweet Lebanon Bologna sandwich. That's another little bit of Pennsylvania culture for all y'all. And Pennsylvania has ended the jam after picking up 4 more points, holding the Quad Squad to just 1 point. Our score is now 136 Quad Squad, 148 Unholy Rollers.
Yeah, it's their internet.
Oh, okay.
Maybe fix it, maybe we can't.
Well,
But I got stuff to do.
Godspeed. I'll try.
And coming up, we have Damn It Janet jamming for the Unholy Rollers, and Smack and Cheese jamming for the Quad Squad. And Lucky Jam 13. Damn It Janet has picked up lead jammer status. Smack and Cheese coming around with speed and intent to score points before this jam is called. Let's see what happens, Rich.
Oh, beautiful cut to the outside, stealing away 4 points before the jam could be called.
Wonderful maneuver there by the Quad Squad jammer, Smack and Cheese. Excellent job. 4 points for the Quad Squad, only 2 for the Unholy Rollers. We are now at a 10-point game. Rich Mahogany, 140 for the Quad Squad, 150 for the Unholy Rollers.
Oh, what a nail-biter, Reaver. We're going to see Quilla DeVille up there jamming up against Thrill Show. A jammer battle as old as time. Quill fights her way to the front, taking lead for the Quad Squad.
Thrill Show trying to fight her way through the pack, getting recycled to the back, while Quilla DeVille slides on through to score 4 points for the Quad Squad. And we have a star pass for the Unholy Rollers. Now jamming is Hell Woods.
Oh, a skating out of bounds penalty assessed to Quilla DeVille. So with that, we will now have a power jam for the Unholy Rollers, and this jam will go the full 2 minutes.
That gives Hell Woods an opportunity to put some points up for the Unholy Rollers. Gives the Unholies a chance to play some offense. One of the fun things about roller derby is that you're frequently playing both offense and defense at the same time. Having a power jam gives you a chance to focus on offense if it's your opponent in the box, and on defense if it's your own jammer who is off the track.
Rough place for the quad squad to be in here with only 2 blockers on the track. Still doing a great job, able to hold Hellwoods back as long as they can. It's like Quilla DeVille will go to the box with a forearm penalty. So another power jam here, second power jam in this jam for the Unholy Rollers and Hellwoods.
And you may have seen Hellwoods get knocked out of bounds at the front of the pack there, but not get a penalty. That is because the blocker who sent her out of bounds also stepped out. And that is why Hellwoods was not required to return the track behind her, allowing her to complete that scoring pass for 4 additional points.
What an astute gaze and mind you have, Reaver.
It's like I've spent time learning the rules for my other roller derby hobby.
So we do have a team timeout called for by the quad squad. That is their second of 3. So they have 1 more timeout to use and 1 more official review to use in the way of clock stoppages. 10 points continue to separate these teams. Clock is stopped at 8 minutes 53 remaining to play. Oh gosh, I'm excited, Reaver.
You know what excites me?
What?
Pizza.
Pizza's exciting. Pizza's very exciting.
Did you know that Ian's Pizza is a proud MRD sponsor?
I had an inkling, but tell me more.
Well, Ian's Pizza has 2 downtown locations at 100 State Street next to the Capitol, as well as at 319 North Francis Street near the Cole Center. And both of those locations, Rich, are open late.
Oh, yes.
They also have an additional location at the historic Garver Feed Mill on Madison's east side. For more information, you can visit ianspizza.com. I highly recommend them. Lots of tasty slices available for your consumption.
In addition to their time.
So right on the heels of that team timeout for the quad squad is going to use their official review. So we see Battle Frog in there pleading the quad squad's case to the officials. We will bring that update to you as soon as it's brought to us. So I have a very important question for all of you out there in the audience. By round of applause, who out there is cheering for the quad squad this evening? Oh, decent showing, decent showing. Now let's hear from those who are cheering on the Unholy Rollers tonight. Ooh. Much like the game on the track, the game in the stands is very close. So much love to all of our skaters, and also out there to our mascots, General Chaos out there and Sinister Urge hyping y'all up. Having epic cheers, epic battles, epic love. Another shout out here to Madison Roller Derby sponsor Banzo. Banzo for Madison's best falafel and hummus. You can visit their Sherman Avenue location offering dine-in, takeout, or delivery. Or you can check them online at banzomadison.com. So speaking of all of the real cool stuff we've got over at the merchandise booth, folks, you can check out our limited edition Skate the Lake and Missing Season shirts. Once they're gone forever. It is your last time, last opportunity to get some of this sick merch. You can say, I was there for the season that was not, and then I was there for the season that was. It's clearly a very nuanced piece of officiating that we're looking at here, friends. Very much looking forward to our esteemed, my esteemed co-announcer, the Goram Reaver, to return and drop those sweet, sweet mind thought brains. Mind thought brains, yes. All the information about what that official review was all about. Reaver.
All that knowledge. Quad Squad was requesting a skating out of bounds penalty on the Unholy Rollers jammer. They felt that after being hit out, they spent an inordinate amount of time skating in the boundary lane before returning to the track. However, the referees who saw the action felt that none of the amount of time spent in the outfield was in fact egregious, and that the jammer did do their best to return to the track in a timely manner. So no penalty was issued, and Quad Squad will not retain their official review.
Thank you very much, Reaver, for your detailed rundown. And thank you to our officials for all the hard work you do. Back to the action on the track. It's Pennsylvania taking lead jam for the Unholy Rollers. Quilla DeVille out there having completed the initial pass as well. All four Quad Squad blockers up at the front of the pack, making sure Pennsylvania cannot move an inch. But then in comes Hello Sailor, looking to break that wall up. But the Quad Squad holding firm, such a hard defense. Quilla DeVille will get through. However, the jam will be called.
Penalties flying left and right, but it looks like only the Rue Barbarian was going to the box. And 2 points by Pennsylvania for the Unholy Rollers. No points for the Quad Squad. And on this jam, we have Lana Del Rage jamming for the Quad Squad and Radio Smacktive jamming for the Unholy Rollers.
Lana Del Rage trying to really push on that Unholy's wall and then pull off to make them shift their weight, maybe give up an opening. But this defense of the Unholy Rollers is doing a great job of staying together, much like the Quad Squad's defense. Really, these defenses have just been ruining jammer days. Lana Del Rage going to be heading off to the penalty box, so it's Radio Smacktive with lead on a power jam, Reaver.
That is exciting. Meanwhile, Radio Smacktive with that lead jammer status is getting through the pack, picking up 4 more points for the Unholy Rollers.
Dio coming up hot on the outside, will push the Quad Squad blockers to the out, does not manage to free up enough space on the inside.
Lana Del Rage has returned to the track to do some more jamming for the Quad Squad.
Both of these packs, the teams of blockers just really pushing in hard together. I'm sorry, I overheard Alligator call a strike when everybody fell down, and it broke me. Thanks, Allie.
And Radio Smacktive decides to end that jam, picking up 2 more points for the Unholy Rollers.
They're lining up for some of the last jams we're going to be seeing here tonight, friends. Game is still close, but Unholy's starting to push things out just a bit. We're going to see what Nat Splat can do for the Quad Squad up against Thrill Show for the Unholies.
And Thrill Show picking up lead jammer status very quickly. Coming around ready to add some more points and take that lead up a little more. A few more notches. Nat Splat, meanwhile, completing her initial pass.
Penalty box seeing a bit of attention right now. There's only a single quad squad blocker up in the pack. Of course, as I say that, we now have 2, but now only 3 blockers for the Unholy Rollers, so a bit of a micro pack happening here. These defenders doing a great job still of holding back these jammers. Although one thing something that's becoming very important here in this jam is the concept of a ghost point. I'll tell you a little bit more about that as the jam comes down, because we don't want to miss any of this action. Nat Splat cuts to the outside. Meets with a full wall of red, though, is going to be run to the back by Slyanide. Thrill Show being held back by Gudo Ridden's Future Trauma. And somebody whose number I can't see.
Booty Collins, having returned from the penalty box, takes a nice little hit at that quad squad wall, but unfortunately was not able to get Nat Splat through. However, after the recycle, Nat just slips on through on the inside line. 4 more points for the quad squad.
So Thrill Show runs that jam out to its full 2 minutes. Quad squad going to use their last team time out.
Well, we have a 19-point game right now, Rich. 160 for the quad squad, 179 for the Unholy Rollers. Rich Mahogany,
Yes,
what
Reaver.
does the winner of this game get? Is there some sort of a trophy, some sort of a way they can display their accolades for being the undefeated team for MRD Season 18?
Normally, yes. We have Leggy, the Leg of Champions. But as this is a bit of a non-standard year, we are not going to be presenting Leggy the way we normally would.
Well,
So what we are competing for right now is honor and glory.
the right to talk smack about everybody else.
Exactly.
I can get behind that.
Lining up for what may be the penultimate jam of this contest. We've got
No.
Coillage DeVille jamming against Damn It Janet.
Actually, Rich Mahogany, I predict that there will be at least one more jam in this period.
Penultimate means second to last.
Oh, look at you with your fancy word knowledge.
That's why they chose me, Reaver. That's why they let me touch the mic. Coillage DeVille out, coming in hot, will force the call off. No
And that was not what would be the penultimate jam, because it ended with 2 minutes and 38 seconds left.
Depending on how things shake out, this one could still be the last jam.
No.
30 seconds to line up. If we don't get 30 seconds for
30
after the
seconds
next
to
jam.
line up, and 2 minutes for a jam still leaves us with 8 seconds on the game clock, Rich Mahogany.
Yes, it does, but the only way that would keep going is if somebody used a timeout to stop the clock. If it kept running,
No. 2 minutes plus 30 seconds.
it doesn't matter. We're into the game. We've got the manipulator out there jamming for the Unholy Rollers, but it's going to be Smack and Cheese who breaks out first, taking lead jam. Oh, and we've got the manipulator heading to the penalty box. This is going to be a power jam for the quad squad. Unholy blockers doing a great job knocking her out into the inside.
Rich Mahogany,
Oh, she's
Thrill
back.
Show is actually jamming for the Unholy Rollers and has not been sent to the penalty box. The manipulator was our pivot. And that's what caused the confusion. But we do still have an Unholy Roller Jammer on the track. Scoring points, in fact. While Mac and Cheese works very valiantly to rack up as many points as possible for the Quad Squad.
Smack trying to cut to the outside, but meets with a wall of red. Just getting knocked around like a pinball. Thrill Show through for 4 more points. Nice help being offered there by Hammer. Abby does get Smack and Cheese up to the front of the pack. So that jam is called. We'll see now if we have a full 30 seconds.
And it looks like
I'm not going to coach.
there's some.
Oh, Reaver, we have 1 second.
The
all right.
drama that goes on
Oh, God.
with the clock at the end of a game.
That was, so we have those 30 so that we can get back to this conversation now. So there are 30 seconds that have to be taken between each jam. And 30 seconds after a jam ends has to elapse for the next jam to start. We had 31 seconds remaining on the period clock when that last jam ended. So by 1 second, the Unholies called it for another jam. If the Unholy, or by 1 second, the Quad Squad called it to get this extra jam if the Unholies hadn't stopped the clock. But they did anyway.
Very
which is
exciting.
fun.
Yes. The drama, I tell you.
It's what I live for. Drama and rules. It's weird. It's a weird combo. So now, as we line up and get ready, so we do have an official review that we are waiting for here. The Unholy Rollers calling for their official review. So we'll see what they're going to be looking for at the end here. If they get something devious, like a jammer penalty, then the Unholy Rollers end up in a really strong space where all they have to do is get lead and call it, and they win this game. However, if the Quad Squad gets it and gets 19 more points than the Unholies do, maths can happen. I have seen bigger jams. I believe that the Quad Squad can come back and do this. Do you believe the Quad Squad can take this? And who believes that the Unholy Rollers are going to cinch this one out? I think that UDO 608 is going to win, personally. The officials always win. UDO 608 is undefeated in all of the games they have ever participated in. Undefeated. Ever. Let that sink in. Reminder that after this second game, because we do have a second game, we're going to see the Vaudeville Vixens taking on the Reservoir Dolls after this. But once that game wraps up, you can come and join us at the after party down at Leopold's Books Bar Cafe on 1301 Regent Street. Oh boy. Everyone's heading back to their designated stations. The Goram Reaver approaches. Reaver, what do?
Well, Rich, Quad Squad was requesting a penalty on the Green Jammer because there was a cut that happened just at the end of that jam. The request was to have an illegal call-off penalty assessed because the jammer did not leave the track and called the jam off instead while in bounds. The referees have assessed the cut penalty, and that penalty is standing, but have not also issued the illegal call-off.
Thank you very much, Reaver.
So the Quad Squad jammer will be serving 1 penalty.
All right. So, Unholy Rollers still starting what will be the final jam of this game in a power jam. And there she does it, friends. Pennsylvania breaks through to take a quick lead, calls off the jam.
Because the best way to make sure you don't lose that lead is to end the game.
Exactly. So with that, it was a close game, friends. Quad Squad fought hard, got 172 points, but the Unholy Rollers come out on top with 190.
Everyone, that gives us an undefeated Unholy Rollers team for Season 18 of Madison Roller Derby.
Now come on down to the outside of that red line if you want some sweaty high fives or elbow taps. Now everybody, as they come out, give it up for the Unholy Rollers!
And of course, let's not forget the opportunity to thank their valiant opponents for this evening, the Quad Squad.
Matt looked over at one point and I'm like, oh, we're good. I got it.
Also, a big thank you to all of our officials for this game and to you, our fans,
Yes.
for coming and being here with us. Stick around for Game 2.